I know a lot of people are going to tell you that in burnout, you need to fix your nutrition. You need to do more exercise. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, duh. No way. I'm tired though. Like, I can't cut up a veggie. Hi, friend. Today it looks like you're searching for some tools in burnout. So, first, I want to say sorry that you're in burnout. This is really stressful, can be exhausting, and can feel really isolating. But secondly, I want to say, great job! Look at you! You're trying to find things to help yourself and make this whole situation better. That's a really good step in the right direction. I'm really proud of you. Um, Today I want it to feel like I'm your friend on FaceTime and you called me to ask for advice on some things to help you get out of burnout. I have a few other videos on self-compassion for burnout, how to notice it, and the full recovery cycle on my page. But today I'm specifically talking about the accommodation tools that you can use for yourself to make every day a little bit easier. So, what is an accommodation tool? This is something in the disabled community that is a necessity that we use every single day to make sure that we can get through the day, eating, drinking, all the necessary things. But these tools aren't just good for disabled people. When something is accommodating, it's easier for everyone. For instance, curb cuts, that little divot on the sidewalk, were for people with wheelchairs, but I'm sure you've used them when you're on a bike or using a stroller or just to get up on the sidewalk a little bit easier. They were made for disabled people. They made access for everyone a lot better. Audiobooks were made for blind people. And now most people have either listened to an audiobook or a lot of people that's how they prefer it. So accommodation tools are things that make our lives easier, and we can thank disabled people for that, really, because it's usually their innovation or their tool in the first place. So today, when talking about tools for burnout, we should understand a little bit about what burnout is. For you, it might just feel like a complete exhaustion and numbing. And that's enough to know that you need help. And that's okay. That's why you're here. But what does it really mean? Burnout is a nervous system override. It's been on for too long. When you rest, your nervous system is still activated and it doesn't contribute to the rest that your body needs because you still have so much activation constantly. So that override needs nervous system care, and most of the tools on this list are going to be to deactivate yourself, bring your nervous system back to baseline, and that will ultimately help with your burnout, because what's burnt out is your nerves. So we need to give it some care. This is one of my tools. I pick at my lips and my skin, and these have little tiny bumps that are just painful enough when I press on them that I don't do that. So that's a tool that I'm using today. Ta-da! So if you see me squeezing something, that's what it is. I'm really nervous, you guys. This is hard for me. But everything in this is so important and I want to share with you. Okay, here's my tools for nervous system burnout. My favorite is a low energy menu or routine. This can be for anything. I have a hygiene routine I have a low energy menu, and so in the morning when I go to do my hygiene, I can pick, do I have high energy this morning or do I have low energy, and then I choose activities based on that. So this can also go for you're cooking dinner, you're packing lunch. You can have a low energy menu and a high energy menu for things to do. Art without an end goal helps your nervous system because the performance of art can cause your nervous system to turn on and activate. So something that you can do is like finger painting or Play-Doh or something that doesn't have an end goal and you don't care about the end goal. It's just about making for your nervous system to remember what it feels like to make. With that, another tool is lowered standards of completion for anything. Something is better than nothing. So if you go to brush your teeth and you're there for 10 seconds and you are tired, okay, you can either sit down, finish brushing your teeth sitting down, or be done. Because in burnout, every little step, everything that you do does matter, and it all does add up in the positive and in the negative. So if you can just one thing lower your standards, remove perfectionism, remove shame, and that will really, really help your nervous system to know that it is safe to make mistakes. And that is something that not all of us know, or not all of us, where our bodies were not taught that it's safe to make mistakes. We might intrinsically say to ourselves, well, I know it's okay to make a mistake, but if your body has never felt okay after a mistake, if it's only felt like you need to run, hide, cry, die, then anyway. How would you know? Nobody taught you. How would you know? That being said, our bodies were programmed with the things that have been told to us. Our nervous system has been programmed. So if everything you've ever known has been extreme activation, extreme stress, that is what your body knows. And you can retrain it. One of those ways to do that is through EFT tapping. It's this methodology where you speak to yourself, allow the emotions to come forward while tapping on meridian points of the nervous system. And this allows your nervous system to come online, feel the emotions that have been stuck, and then release it and transform it into something new. That doesn't always happen for me. Sometimes after a tapping session, I go from numb to feeling, but then I can do it again and then go from feeling extreme to feeling a little bit lower. Anyways, just like anything, it's a tool that works best if you're using it consistently and not just in urgency. My favorite way to do EFT tapping is here on YouTube. There's a channel called Actor to Artist that I really, really love. They're a small channel, so most of their taps have under 100 views, and probably like 20 of them are from me. So I highly recommend going to Actor to Artist channel. Not only that, is because I was talking about my burnout in the comments, Sarah actually created a whole video just for burnout so that our community can have connection with each other to talk about burnout, to support each other in burnout. So I feel really, really special. I don't want to cry because I've cried about it already, how honored I am that we can do this in community together. So if you're curious about EFT tapping, please look at the resource playlist in the pinned comment, and the Actor to Artist EFT tapping sessions will be right underneath my videos for this series. They're very, very important to me and something that I do almost every day. If I don't do it on YouTube, I am using tapping in my bed for myself to teach myself that I am safe. Another tool, any food is better than no food. I know a lot of people are going to tell you that in burnout, you need to fix your nutrition. You need to do more exercise. Like, yeah, okay, yeah, duh. No way. I'm tired though. Like, I can't cut up a veggie. Sorry. It is true though. I mean, like, okay, if you are rich and you can hire someone to do those things and help you, support you with those things, then please do them. But if you're poor, you can barely take care of yourself as is, any food is better than no food right now. I'm proud of you for being able to eat anything, because sometimes in nervous system activation, your body becomes so activated, it no longer allows you to eat food because it feels so unsafe that the energy it takes to digest the food turns your body unsafe for you. So I've been in that situation. I'm sorry if you're in that situation. And I hope that you can find support. Okay, turn off social media or add limits, because we think that scrolling social media is rest, but baby, it is input. It is giving your brain something more to think about. It is giving your nervous system something more to process. If you are tired, giving your brain more to process will not make you less tired. It can make you more numb because you're overloading it to the point of numbness. So if you're doing that, at first you don't have to change anything. Just notice how often you're numbing yourself and how, and if there's another way that you can numb yourself that might be a little bit easier on your nervous system, because numbing yourself with social media is incredibly harmful to your activation. You're going to be, because of rage bait, because of horrible things that are happening on this planet, because of envy, just because of every single emotion that can flood just from one scroll, it frazzles our nervous system, and it is helpful if we aren't doing that. Magnet activities. What are magnet activities? These are things that I like to, when I have any dopamine to do a task, I like to magnet a couple of them together, because otherwise I will need to have dopamine to start many tasks. For instance, when I get out of bed to use the restroom in the morning, it can be really difficult just to get myself out of bed for that, even though it's a necessity. So while I am up, I go to the bathroom, and then I also scoop the cat litter before I wash my hands, because I would need to wash my hands for both of those activities, and it helps me magnet them together. Another one is when I'm playing a game with my family, I like to start a dinner or a snack or some cooking prep, because then I know that I'll have time to sit down in between and take rests while I'm playing a game. So this works to use the dopamine that you have wisely and making things less of a demand, because it's like a 2-in-1 sort of thing. Another thing that's kind of like this, it's called parallel play for difficult activities. This is similar to magneting activities together, except you ask a person to be there. So this can be really, really helpful when you're doing something that you don't particularly want to do. For me, it's paperwork. If I can just ask somebody to be in the room with me, I know that I'm actually going to be focused. I don't know why, it feels like their nervous system helps mine stay on track and doesn't allow the fear to rise up, because I can look at them, see that there's nothing to be afraid of here, and it's just paperwork. Another thing that works for me is using a piece of softness for any activating scenario. So what does that mean? For me, I have medical PTSD from the over 30 doctors who have seen me, and a lot of them have mistreated me. And so going to a doctor, even one that I trust, can be incredibly difficult. And so I bring something that I can hold that reminds me of home. When I have a plushie or something soft from home, I can hold it close to me, feel it, touch it. My nervous system can feel that comfort. Um, our our senses are really important to our nervous system, so adding something calming for your senses will just really help it. Lavender essential oils is also a really good way to do this via smell rather than touch. If you need to preserve energy because you're on your feet a lot or driving, a good way to do that is with compression socks. Compression socks help with heart activation and keep your heart at a steady rate when you're standing and moving. Another thing that can help is magnesium spray for fatigue, itchiness, brain fog, muscle soreness. Another thing that is similar to a magnesium spray. This is what my magnesium spray looks like. But you can also make it yourself using water and magnesium flakes, or you can get your magnesium using an Epsom salt bath. But that can be really, it can be really energy draining. So for me, magnesium spray is on the low energy menu and an Epsom salt bath is on the higher energy menu because I can rarely have enough energy to take a bath. Another thing that you can do for your nervous system while you're in burnout, especially if you're about to do an activating thing, something that really does make you stressed, is you can put on a calming frequency, white noise, nature sounds, or something similar into your headphones or wherever you listen to music. This can be helpful for grocery stores, at work, when you're cooking, when you're around a lot of noisy people, whatever causes your activation. You know better than me. Another thing that can help is creating boundaries around people who spike your nervous system. If you're in burnout and there are people who will either on purpose or accidentally spike your nervous system every time that you're around them, and they will offer no support for that, you really can't afford your nervous system to be activated any more than it already has been. So as usable and as appropriate, if you can create boundaries between yourself and that person, and it will help you to heal. Another thing with boundaries is being able to say no. Say no to things that you can't do now. Even if you could do them before, even if you wanted to do them, you can still say no. You can still contact people and let them know that you can't. You can't. You're in nervous system burnout. Another tool that can help you with, especially with creating the boundaries, is identifying those emotional stressors, whether it's from people or routines or actions that you're taking, and find transitional changes that are really, really small steps that you can do to either stop doing those things, stop doing them so often, or do them in a way that doesn't cause you to have fear or other activation. And the last tool that I have is asking for help and telling your truth, even when it's painful. Because you are telling your nervous system that it is okay to be honest with what's happening, hiding the pain makes the pain worse for your nervous system, because it is a burden to hide how bad you're feeling. It is a burden for your brain to have to shove it down constantly. So not having to do that will also relieve it by talking about it. Another way that we can be in burnout is in empathetic burnout. Like I said, we've been watching people get murdered on social media, live stream genocide, and that can be extremely distressing. The world is full of strife at the moment, so my burnout is also empathetic burnout, and my compassion can be extremely overwhelming in this world. But for that kind of burnout, the direction is different. It's not just about deactivating your own nervous system. It requires compassionate action for others to soothe their fears, to deactivate their nervous system, to help us all do this together. So today I'm going to talk about a few sponsors of this video, and we're going to work on some empathetic action together. So my friend Zach, he has a video here for you guys that I will put.
Hello, I am Zakaria Garra. I am from Gaza. I hope for your help. Goodbye, friends.
He was recently displaced. It costs $300 for displacement just to move, and he does not have a tent. Him and his siblings do not have a tent. And for the displacement cost, they've raised $80 only out of $300, and so they need the rest of that, and they still need a tent. So the GoFundMe for Zach is in the description. If you could please go and read his story or follow him on Instagram, he could really use a DM and other people who are willing to use their voice for him. My friend Mem is struggling right now in disabled burnout as a chronically ill person who has a disabled household and fundraises for their houseless family. Right now, they are needing desperate help for mold removal and for food support and rent support, of course, during this time to remain housed and try to heal. And that can't really happen when they're constantly in activation and worried and scared that they're going to lose everything. That only exacerbates all of the problems, especially with environmental factors like mold. And the last person that I want to sponsor today is myself. So I was going through burnout for decades with lack of treatment and misdiagnosis or lack of diagnosis for disabilities. And the culmination of all of those things left me bedridden for the last 3.5 years until January. Now I'm barely back on my feet. Like, I'm still at risk of passing out every day. I still use a mobility aid. I'm still not able to work. I still struggle to feed myself, and I usually need assistance for that. My main support was my husband, and he can no longer support me due to his own mental health issues, and so we are getting divorced, and I don't have the support that I need. I can't get on disability. And so if you would like to support me, there are a few ways you can do so. There are some membership tiers where you can either join my print club, and this is the print of the month. As you can see, the big painting in the back, I'm so proud of it, but this is the print that you will get. Or if 100 of you join the $888 tier, that will be the same amount per month as a disability that I've been trying to get on for 3 years. And if 1,000 of you joined that tier, I could not only support myself, but I could support my disabled friends, my friends like Mem and Zach and Omar and all of the other people who we have sponsored on this channel. And I could continue to do this work for free and bringing you guys education and support. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for having empathetic, compassionate action for me and for my friends. Whether you can help, whether you can support or not, I'm just really thankful that you are here to listen. If you want to comment and give either some support, some tools that you have noticed have helped you in burnout, or if you just want to describe and get some validation for your own burnout right now, please feel free to look for community in the comments. This is a place for you and for all of us to get better together. So thank you so much. I'm so proud of you. Love you. Bye.